Aho, aho, aloha. What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? What is the purpose of this collective experience that we all know has a deeper meaning, but none of us can say for certain what this all is? Now, there are many ways to analyze and to process the information and to do our best to simplify the roots of what life is all about, what the meaning is. So let's simplify it today in the regards of we're here to grow a big aura, to create an impermeable energy field, our light body, our rainbow body, our diamond body. All the traditions in the ancient world know of this process of clearing out and purifying the mind, the heart, the karma, the physical body, and reactivating our pure essence and developing a sheathing that then goes with us and is much closer to our true spiritual form. In Taoism, we refer to this as the diamond body. So currently, I can speak from experience of raising the Djed and hitting walls and maybe coming back down and raising the Djed some more. The Djed being the energetic vortices that travel up and down the spine, the Kundalini, the grounding rod and the lightning rod for the energetic body is something that we must activate, anchor, and amplify if we're going to create the rainbow body. From the Taoist tradition, of course, we want to overflow the lower Dantian, which gives us very strong power from our hara, if in the Indian tradition, in that area, a couple of inches deep, a couple inches below the navel, where that becomes our place of power and grounds us to the physical realm. In the Tibetan and the Sufi tradition, we see the place of power coming more from the heart. And then more in the Kundalini tradition, we see a lot of emphasis of driving all of the spiritual energy towards the high brain. Ultimately, we look for a balance of all three. The three Dantians in Taoism being lower Dantian, middle Dantian, upper Dantian, lower Dantian associated with the kidneys, grounding us to the physical, middle Dantian associated with the heart, grounding us to the energetics, the emotions, the realm of humanity, and the upper Dantian in the head, or subtle, connecting us to the realm of spirit. And so, how do we continue on this quest and build this light body and become closer to our pure essence than we ever were prior to that cultivation? So I think to break it down much more simply, we need to just understand anything in regards to, is this making our aura bigger, this decision that we're doing, or is it making it smaller? Be it this encounter with a relationship, a food we're eating, the alcoholic beverage that we may be intaking, the decision to go to a class, the decision to watch a certain video. Are these decisions growing our aura, or are they shrinking our aura? And so each little decision throughout the day, each little thought throughout the day, each moment of the day is subtly growing our aura or subtly shrinking it. And this all becomes much more catalyzed once our lower dantian is full, when our hearts are open, and when the Djed in our spine is activated, when the Kundalini is on. Then everything begins to metabolize much faster spiritually. The spiritual energy will test us. It will test us to have new breakthroughs, to stop the patterns of sabotage. So for me, I cannot say that my path is necessarily the one for everyone, but I can speak from my experience and say what has worked to continue on the refinement. So the big things for me to cut out of my life, one being alcohol. It's been over 3.5 years since I've drank alcohol, and before that I wasn't drinking that extensively. However, I was drinking a lot later in teenage years and early 20s, and then eventually decided that was really not a thing to do. And ultimately, I wasn't planning to stop alcohol completely, but an empowerment with the Nechung, the oracle from the Dalai Lama, he pressed his magic wand of sorts that he was using for the empowerment that was happening, that spontaneously was created, and a few hundred of us were able to attend. He saw me in my Vibram 5-finger shoes, and he pressed down on top of my head and really gave it to me because he saw I was ready for it. And I think that empowerment of sorts helped me continue on a path of less and less sabotage. And so for me to grow an aura being Ra, the sun, and AR backwards is pentagram, and AU is gold, Ra is sun. So the aura is the golden sun that we're creating, the Golden ratio circuits all the way up and down through this plane of existence and our fields and our physical bodies. But that empowerment with the Dalai Lama's oracle nudged me on a path to sabotage myself less and to do things to create more coherence and build my aura bigger. And for a big one, for me to get to let go of completely was alcohol. Now, another thing that many traditions do agree with is the consumption of meat. That does slow us down. And so I've given up meat for around 6.5 years. And I do notice a much purer state of being and thought and refinement. And it does take some adjustment after a lifetime of meat eating to go into not meat eating as far as the interface with the world, but it's not anything that cannot be done. And it may not necessarily be for everybody. I'm not going to preach that everybody has to do that, but it is the case in all spiritual traditions. If you're going to do a magic ritual for a few days or a few weeks beforehand, at least, you don't eat meat. So why not go all the way and just don't never do it? The other real key piece, I believe, that continues the anchoring of our Djed, the raising of our Djed, the cultivation of the lower dantian, where's the breath guiding us, will circulate the energy around. But the ultimate refinement piece that acts as a thread to detangle us from our old ways of doing things that may not benefit us to our purest, highest soul essence is to rediscover our life's purpose, our path, our mission. We all have certain reasons we came to this realm. And for everyone, it's a little bit different. But I do see a parallel in my own cultivation, when I stick to my heart's all-knowing of what it is I need to be doing, the refinement of my chi, of my Kundalini, of my aura expansion, continues to subtly expand. This may become coming from giving a healing session, meeting a certain individual, teaching a class, eating something or choosing not to eat something. So the other thing back on the food is now we are faced with all these toxic foods. Meat or not, there's toxins everywhere. So that's another real obstacle that our collective is facing, is the toxic food created by the Monsantos and these companies that have laced our food with ingredients that do not serve us at a basic level of creating ease or disease, but most certainly at a more subtle level of creating our diamond bodies. So those three things, there are many ways to break down why and how and create the template for each of us to build our auras very strong and big, and then become impermeable. And fundamentally, I believe no alcohol, no meat, find a life purpose. Those are three big ones. And ultimately, this all, raising the Djed of our back, activating the Kundalini, opening the heart, overflowing the lower dantian. When a practitioner of any sorts can reach this level of cultivation, as a practitioner, they're safe to practice in somebody else's stuff, their energetic stuff, their physical stuff. That's why all Chinese doctors know that it's the Wei Qi field that keeps us as our line of defense against disease, our line of defense against pathogens, and that's why a Chinese doctor with cultivated Wei Qi has no fear of treating a bunch of people who are sick. So this recording is a gateway into some fundamentals, creating a big aura is one reason we came here. Create experiences for others that empower them, empower all of us to grow their auras bigger too. That's one reason we came here. It can be through anything. It can be through meticulously cleaning a building or a house or a garden. It can be through singing. It can be through driving someone to the airport. The experience can be from the mundane to the most esoteric, magical, ritual, and everywhere in between. But the substance that grows our energy fields bigger is contingent on how we make the others feel. Are we cultivating them to their hearts and their souls and their own spiritual development? And then to wrap things up for this recording, we'll say that once we reach this level of refinement and purification, we become our own food source energetically. We need less sleep. We need less food. And we don't get ourselves involved with situations where two people borrow a vampire energy from each other, like we see happen in so many dynamics. It's two people creating a sheathing that has not been fully created, and so they borrow from each other and continue to zap each other, versus getting two people together, friends or lovers or anybody, who are activated and their own source, at least in that moment in time, and preferably overall in their everyday life. Channeling that source current, channeling the Tao, channeling the rainbow energy. And the two bodies are doing that. Both beings thrive. Simple. It's very simple. Fundamentals are simple. So let's do our best to track our patterns of sabotage and let them be observed and let them fall away. We all came here to love. We all came here to grow a big energy field. We all came here to love. We all came here to grow a big energy field. We all came here to love. We all came here to grow a big energy field.